Oh, it's a sad day, YouTube. I've just been informed that my long-term sponsorship with Shart Industries is over, so I need to find a new multi-tool. By the way, the 8 other videos that I'd said that this is the greatest road multi-tool going, I might have had a little bit of bias in those videos. So today's story is going to be about the Daysavers. This is the Essential8, which costs approximately 50 Canadian, or make that 70 Canadian, 50 US dollars. Wish it was 50 Canadian. And this one, which is the Coworking5, which costs 50 Canadian or 30 US dollars. Now with that high price, I think there has to be a high standard for these. So stick around and let's see how they do. The Essential tool is pretty simple in how it's built. You got a T25, a 4mm, 6mm, the 8mm in the body, 5, 3, 2.5, and 2. If you're worried about losing your bits, the actual connections are magnetic. So it shouldn't shake out of the tool when you're using it or when it's in your saddlebag. The co-working consists of your chain tool, which is driven by a T25, a spoke wrench, and there's a Presta tool right in here to get your Presta valves off. In addition to that, you have your chain links right here, and rather than being a friction fit, they're actually magnetic. So you don't have to worry about it deteriorating over time. No press fit here. And the tire lever is relatively beefy. The other point is that the actual Essential is held in by a magnet. And you can use that magnet if you're concerned about losing a bit while you're working with the Essential tool, which is pretty cool. The chain tool fits back in just like that. It's pretty good. Young men, listen to me. The most important thing is that all holes are available to your tool on your bicycle. Of course, you should be concerned about the through axles, which are the most common thing you have to get undone. Anything around your stem and or headset, or maybe even in the event of a crash, retightening up your shifter clamps. Anything around your seat post, cranks, pedals, etc. The only thing that I'm missing with this little thing here is I can't tighten my pedals and I can't do the lock rings on my disc rotors, or I cannot take my cassette off. But of course I just put this in my jersey pocket. No big deal. One of my biggest pet peeves when I meet people trailside and they're struggling with something is they've never tested their tool to see how well it works. So here is my 12-speed Ultegra chain that I have a similar chain on my test bike. I'm just going to put this in, line it up, and give it a test. One thing I'll note with this is you don't have quite as much leverage, so it's a bit of effort to get it to actually break the pin. There we go. See if we push that through. Quite easy. No biggie. So you know that's going to work quite well in the field. That's one of the better multi-tool type chain breakers I've ever used. I actually use in my kit or bring along a wolf tooth tool as opposed to using the tool on the co-working, just because I think this is industry leading and it only weighs about 2 grams. In the weigh-in, The Essential tool weighs 32 grams and 34 for the co-working. Together, it's a pretty light 66 grams. Let's compare that to a pretty similar function EDC, which I was carrying before with a lever, chain tool, and all the tools that are the equivalent of the Essential. Then let's compare that to an oldie but a goodie, which this is a top of the line Lizan tool from about 10 years ago and a very light tire lever. 85 US dollars or 120 Canadian. You've got a lot to live up to. And I think this tool does exactly that. Given the fact that it's got all these functions, is 2/3 the weight of any of the comparable tools I've shown you, at least in my possession. And it's got these retention magnets all throughout the tool. I think that's what makes it so expensive. But the bottom line is, Daysaver, to me, has hit this out of the park. So with that, please, if you got a comment, put it down below. If you have a question. Otherwise, please like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Ride hard.